Okay, so yeah, I recommend to take notes because a lot of precise and like technical information and practices will be given. Feel free if you know how to take screenshots. I can also give you this PowerPoint afterwards as well as a form of notes. So yes, astral projection, out-of-body experiences, lucid dreaming, near-death experiences. To me, at the end of the day, these are all the same in the sense that they are all phenomena connected to what the Gnostics call the inner worlds or internal worlds or superior worlds. It's the world that we go to after the death of our physical body. And it's the world that we can also experience and interact with and gain information from while we are alive, while we're incarnated. And of course, if we want to look under the microscope, so to speak, there are differences between, let's say, astral projection and lucid dreaming. And that's the main thing we're going to try and practically understand here. So I think a lot of people underestimate having this personal discovery of these realities because these inner worlds are more fundamental, more closer to actual reality or objective reality. And if we want to talk in terms of religious terminology, it's the world closer to God, right? And this world, or this world that we're living in, this material physical plane is simply an illusion. It's a result of effects of greater or superior causes from the inner world. So essentially, everything in the physical is a manifestation of the superior worlds. So therefore, if you know your inner world, you can control your physical reality. So already the practice of astral projection is already a superior way to understand what New Age teachings call manifestation. So what does it mean to become someone who becomes competent at visiting, exploring, investigating spiritual dimensions? Well, generally, we understand that this is part of our evolution. And so you can see on the screen, this is a painting from someone who was a Gnostic in his own right called Jofre Boschart, showing that man is the five-pointed star that is destined to ascend into knowledge of himself. And that he is the cosmos himself, right? We are a microcosmic reflection of the macrocosmos. And with the 5 points representing the 5 elements, 4 elements are fire, water, earth, air, connected generally to our physicality. But the 5th element, Akash, connects us to the spiritual worlds. So, this is all part of us. It's not some separate hobby or strange new concept that only a few people like. So yeah, and it says revolution because really it is a revolution of consciousness instead of evolution. Because if you weren't here consciously intending and wanting to do all of this, then you wouldn't experience it. It takes revolution. It takes a conscious choice. You have to knock on the door for it to open, you see. So it's mostly false to believe we can rely on some modern theory of natural evolution. It will never happen if we don't choose it. Jesus said, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall open, ask and you shall receive, right? This is internal wisdom that it's pointing to that we need our own willpower to do all of this. So we just have a little information here about the word gnosis. It's a Greek word meaning knowledge from experience. And essentially, experience is better than belief. And there is also a Sanskrit word, jnana, which means the same thing. And also marifa in Arabic as well, and da'ath in Hebrew. So in short, belief and thinking is not real knowledge. Everything you learn in this course is just theory. It's good to study, but it's not real knowledge. What is real is what we can experience. So most of you probably believe in astral projection. Well, this is insignificant as to whether you believe it or not. It helps a little bit, right? Because we're more open-minded. But what is significant is, have you experienced it? Do you know it? Okay. So It's like when we learn to drive, right? We have theory and we have the practical. Some people are very good at the practical and not very good at theory. And some people are masters at theory and absolutely terrible at the practical, okay? So just a little bit more, you can just read from the screen here. Opposite of gnosis is hypnosis. Okay, so this is important to understand too. Hypno means sleep, and osis means condition. So together, this means conditioned sleep. And this is going to relate to what we're going to learn here about dreaming at night, but also daydreaming. Daydreaming being a way in which we keep our consciousness asleep. So we sort of hypnotize ourselves with our psychological identifications of the world, you see. And therefore, we struggle to acquire experiences. So now, to be a Gnostic, it doesn't mean to assign yourself to some school, some creed, church, religion, scientific organization. If we generally, if we people of a occult or esoteric background give that title, if we give that title to someone, we're acknowledging that that person has acquired gnosis, their own knowledge, to quite a divine degree, which means real, authentic knowledge based on experience, as opposed to beliefs, theories, opinions, speculations, thinking about things, etc. Okay. And so, we all have our own particular level of gnosis within us all. We all know that we can breathe. We know that we have hands, right? To what degree we know it's real? Well, that depends on you, right? We have a physical body, right? But do we know the astral reality in this moment? So we all have our own specific degrees of awakened consciousness. For most of us, for most of humanity, it's understood that it's only 1%, 2%, or 3% of our consciousness that is awakened. And once you start to awaken more, the percentage starts to increase very gradually as you take this path of self-knowledge, of self-discovery. Now, the most elevated Gnostics, or well-known Gnostics, were those who knew of these inner mysteries, and many of them knew of the astral plane too. And so everyone you see, the people you see on the screen are just some of the people who wrote about the astral plane explicitly. Some would speak explicitly about it, others implicitly. Sometimes the times that they were in, they didn't have the terminologies for these things, in the times of Buddha and Jesus. Maybe they would call it heaven, So, yeah, and so how would we also rank the authority of these Gnostics? How do we know if they're real? And to what degree are they, which one's better, right? The only true way to know that, as for any kind of knowledge, would be to investigate them for yourself in the inner worlds and meet them. And so, as you can see as well in the middle, for Gnostics, there is no distinction or difference between religions. They all come from the same source. They're just different according to the traditions and the cultures of the time that they were formed. Most of them have degenerated now and lost a lot of the secret knowledge, but it's there if you know how to look. So what we're here for specifically is acquiring our own gnosis, our own experience in what is called astral projection. And in order to do that, if we want to be practical and gain experience, then we must have the ability to say, I do not know what astral projection is. Astral projection practically has nothing to do with intellectual knowledge and everything to do with experiential knowledge, everything. Remember this when you go to practice. Throw away all the theory as much as you can and only practice. So it's okay. It's good to study and think about astral projection during moments of our life and set intentions. It's important. But when it actually comes to practice, we have to put all the theory aside, all the beliefs, and only seek to discover what is true to you as an individual. And I say this because the two biggest obstacles to astral projection is thinking and fear. but primarily thinking, because thinking leads to fear. For example, if someone's been studying a lot and they start to, they have an experience and they start thinking and they can't, they suddenly wake up, right? Or maybe during the day, they just start saying like, I get questions like this all the time, like, oh, I've been studying astral projection, wondering about this and that, or if this theory says this, then what if these entities do this? Or if I leave my body, can I get back, etc., etc. None of this is of use practically. And I'm sure many of you have been close to the experience, and then, you start this thinking process. So meditation is going to help a lot. And there's a lot of meditations for that. We're not going to learn it here. I'm going to teach you something more specific, but I'm sure, most of you have some kind of meditation practice to get into that state, your own being, your own balance, your own center. And to find your inner silence and really start working with your mind and your heart more consciously. Right? So astral projection is not about just cool experiences. It's also about getting in touch with yourself. It's a prerequisite, really. So if you find yourself overthinking or having fear during any kind of experience, just be quiet. Like next time you're experiencing any kind of fear, overexcitement, any type of thinking, I want you to remember these very important, profound, and deep words that will fix your problem instantly. Just remember my very profound voice in those moments saying, shut your pie hole and be quiet. Okay, and I bring humor into it because this is not some scary thing. It's beautiful, it's life-changing, it's fun, it's one of the best things you'll ever experience. It's like going home, you're discovering what awaits us after death. Most people are scared of that, but when you experience it and you see it's beautiful, if you discover death, you affirm life, right? Most people don't really live because they're afraid of death. So you have to find your warrior spirit within and don't be cowardly. I put a little picture here of a warrior. You need courage. You need bravery. Do you want to know the secrets of the universe? Or do you want to cower away because of fear? It's your choice, right? So this is why a lot of secret societies, Gnostic groups, esoteric, occult groups, they have initiation rituals because they want to know if the person is serious. So it's not that you have to do those rituals, but it's a test. It's something that's internal. Do you want to know? If not, then you won't have an experience. If you do, then, knock on the door will open and you'll receive an answer. And I put this here before to, if any of you have, negative, fearful, self-limiting beliefs that you think astral projection is scary, that you think it's dangerous, that you don't believe in yourself, put all that in the trash because it's trashy thinking and it's not going to get you anywhere. Of course, you have to comprehend why you're having these things, right? We don't want to be ignorant, but at the end of the day, you need to put it in the trash once you're done. Okay, so be positive, enjoy it, embrace it, be passionate about it, and know what you want to discover with it. You should know why you're here attending this course. What are your motivations and reasons for doing it? Maybe it's because you want to meet a loved one who's passed away, meet spiritual masters, discover your past lives, or like me, maybe you genuinely just want to know, who am I beyond all of this? What is the reason for existence? How does it all work? And so you want to use astral travel as a tool for awakening your consciousness and to get to the heart of the truth of reality that will benefit you in all areas of your life. We want to go beyond the subjective dream perceptions of reality, of what we believe or feel reality is. Okay, so whatever your reason is, hold it closely and dearly to your heart and commit yourself. If you really want to astral travel, you will. It's as simple as that, but you need faith, self-belief, and a sense of willpower or intention to do it. So we're going to go deeper into this, into what actually are dreams as opposed to astral experiences. Now, the two, of course, they can merge and mingle, but it's good to differentiate. And very simply, dreams are subjective ego projections of reality, and the astral plane is objective, independent reality. It does not rely upon our own subjective, subconscious creations. Okay, now we're going to go more practical here. So I invite you to begin to reflect and listen closely. In order to understand dreams, like what they are, we don't even have to recall the dreams we have at night, because actually we're all dreaming right now. As each one of you listen to me, you're all having a very large portion of your consciousness that is daydreaming about the information you're hearing, and also about many other things in your life, even if you don't know it, because it's happening subconsciously, you see. So this is important to observe. So I already invite you all to do it now. Observe your thoughts and your emotions here and now. If you can do that to a very vivid degree, you're already living in a lucid way, you see. You're already doing a very mild form of lucid dreaming while your physical body is awake. So consciously observe waking life, and then you'll learn how to consciously observe your dreams too, you see. All the training is done here in the physical. So daydreams are no different than the dreams we have at night, no different. So for example, since many of you like to dream about astral projection during the day, like we're doing now, how many of you have had an experience during sleep where you dreamed that you were astral projecting? So why did you experience that? Because you were dreaming of astral projecting during waking life, and therefore it happens in your sleep too, you see? Very simple. So if you reflect and meditate on what I'm saying deep enough, you'll understand that if you stop dreaming during waking life, you will also stop dreaming while your physical body sleeps. Okay, hence why my book is called Beyond Dreaming. Okay, so this is the basic equation. Awaken consciousness during the day, and it will be awakened during night too. Pay attention to your present waking experience here and now from moment to moment, and you will pay attention to experiences during sleep too, from moment to moment. And if you want to go even deeper with this, if you live your whole life consciously, you will also enter the afterlife consciously. So I hope you can see how this practice prepares us for the next stages of our existence too. The whole of life is a preparation for the most exciting and deep astral experience you'll ever have, which happens in the afterlife. Okay, so I'm just giving you some inspiration and fire to sense how significant and important astral projection is. This fire element is what we need, this inspiration and this determination, this feeling to know, or having this daringness to know and have willpower to do this is really important, and it will fuel your experiences. And this relates, this fire, this light, this awareness, this relates to what I'm going to introduce to you now as something called the solar astral body and the lunar astral body. Okay. Now, to introduce this idea is just to simplify, but also deepen our understanding of the nature of our astral body and its potential in regards to how we can transform it into something conscious. The solar astral body being conscious, full of light, full of consciousness and fire. But this is something we don't have right now. Okay, we don't have the solar astral body right now. If you did, you would not be attending this course. So let's first understand that as average, everyday, normal people, we all have a lunar astral body, which coexists alongside our physical body. And every time, every night, the physical body goes to sleep, the lunar astral body unconsciously leaves the physical body and goes around in the astral plane, going here and there and anywhere, dreaming about all sorts of stuff, but in its own closed environment. So we all already astral project every single night, but we do it unconsciously. So in most of humanity, what does this look like? What do people look like in the astral plane? Well, people are just simply doing the things they do in waking life in the astral plane at night, unconsciously, hypnotized by their own identifications, fascinations, habits, etc., repeating mechanical, unconscious behaviors, fantasies, chores around the house, worrying about things, socializing. I've seen this many times in strangers, friends, family, in the astral plane, and also in myself, of course. A CEO of a company can be found in the astral, just doing his everyday managing tasks, totally unconscious of the astral reality at night. Nurses can be found in hospitals, mothers can be with their kids at home. A person who dreams about being rich is found in a lot of, like made up mansions. A person who has a lot of sexual fantasies can be found having a lot of sex, right? So it's all unconscious, just dreams. And we only recall a tiny portion of these experiences when we wake up at night. So our consciousness is not awake. We first have to acknowledge this. We have to see how asleep we are if we want to awaken. Okay? So this is the lunar astral body. And why lunar? Why the moon? Because the moon is also mechanical, like an unconscious, conditioned, programmed robot. It wanes and it waxes. On top of this, the moon does not produce its own light, its own consciousness. It just gets whatever it can from the sun. Now, in deeper Gnostic understanding, these planetary bodies do have actual astrological influences on our own spiritual bodies. So in this case, we're talking about how it affects the astral body. So some of you may have noticed that you have much more interesting dreams, or you even have astral projection experiences during the full moon, because we resonate with the moon more than the sun. And when the moon is illuminated, so too is our consciousness illuminated, because we are lunar people. Okay, this is how we understand it. So as you can see on the screen, generally speaking, if you observe the moon phases, we generally go through dream experiences of a darker or negative emotions during the waning period. And we go through sort of more happier dreams, dreamy dreams during the waxing period. And then at the full moon, it peaks. And I remember being very surprised myself when I I've been practicing this for 12 years now, but I think it was only last year that I still have the dates from my first astral projection experiences. And I was surprised to see, wow, my first experience was also during the full moon, and many of my experiences after that. So it's a great opportunity to practice and make a ritual of that night. But do we want to be lunar people, asleep, mechanical, subjected to the laws of nature? No personal freedom, no personal will to choose when we want to have these experiences. And more specifically, do we want to gain experiences just once a month, relying on the moon to get bright? Or do we want to learn how to produce our own light of consciousness, like the sun, from moment to moment every day, and have many more experiences? So for this, we have to turn from our mechanical lunar consciousness and transform it into light, into the solar astral body. And it doesn't mean we need to change the way we necessarily what we're doing in life, our circumstances, but it's in the consciousness. It's not something you'll be able to tell, just because someone has grown dreadlocks or they dress like a guru, it doesn't mean their consciousness is awakened. People can be working in an office all day and be absolutely awakened too. After this, definitely check your journal and you'll see many of your experiences were during full moon or near the full moon. So yeah, this is why I've put this here as well. As a general rule, among beginners to these mysteries, most people just want experiences as an end goal, which is fine if that's your choice, if that's your level, if that's what you need. But an authentic practitioner, they let experiences be a byproduct of their own inner work. And generally, we gain much more experiences if we approach it in this way. And so for this, we're going to look at two powerful practices, and they're intimately connected to each other. So these two practices, they complement each other, and we'll see why. The first practice by itself, it's called the key of soul. And this is enough to already have experiences naturally. But we want more power, right? And there's another one to make it very powerful. I've put this Merkaba here because the solar body is essentially the same as probably some of you have seen or read about the Merkaba body, the light body, things like this. It's the same as the solar body, but you get to understand it a little bit more simpler, if that's a word, through my explanation, hopefully. So the key of soul, and this is what I said to you before I began. This is something that we train ourselves to have awakened consciousness no matter what we're doing. And this is really a very in-depth technique for reality checks. It's an advanced reality check. Most of us just do all the reality checks that are there, like jumping, see if you can fly. This is very in-depth and psychological and more intimate, to do with your own heart and emotions and thoughts. So this is simply a self-observation technique. If we are not observing ourselves during the day, observing the movie of our life, then it's much less likely that we'll be able to observe ourselves during sleep too. As above, so below. Okay. So even more simply, this is just about awareness, pure awareness, and even being aware of awareness. What your awareness is doing, dreaming, thinking. Okay. Now, I want you to sort of write this down as something critical and fundamental to remember for this practice, which is an affirmation, which is, I identify only as awareness. I identify only as awareness, okay? Because I'm going to ask you to observe a lot of rubbish inside you, right? A lot of internal elements and things and egos and desires. And sometimes when we look at our own rubbish too much, we can identify with it, which we do all the time, right? If I ask you to observe your anger, observe your negative emotions, you are observing in those moments unconscious dreams. And we usually don't like to do this because we don't like to face ourselves. We don't like to face reality. Nobody likes the truth. But remember your purpose here, which is to only bring awareness, consciousness to everything, and to stay in that for as long as possible, with the purpose that this flow of awareness will remain all day and therefore all night. So it's intensive training for ourselves, yes, but it's really worth it. And it's not that you don't have to do it all day. In the beginning, it's good to just maybe put a reminder on your phone 5 times a day, when you wake up, before you go to sleep, midday, okay? But eventually, for those who are very determined, you can advance a lot with this. I can say myself that I've not mastered it. I'm always practicing it. It's a lifetime of practice. So yeah, as you can see here, I've put it's deep, prolonged, intense, but it should also be relaxed. If you have psychological tension or psychic tension, then there's something you're not observing, right? So we need to observe ourselves deeply. So in the beginning, it can be exhausting because we're so used to giving our energy to thought forms, emotional forms, which are dreams, give birth to dreams. And well, actually over time, this becomes quite invigorating. You become more energetic. It helps you to save energy at any given moment, right? Imagine someone who is, they just went through a divorce and they're really feeling so bad, and their energy levels are low. Spiritual energy levels are really low, right? But if they snap out of it in those moments, boom, you're not leaking energy anymore, right? So astral projection is not just psychological imagination, it's energetic. Okay. We become energeticists. Okay. So like I said, you don't need to do it all day. Begin with just 5 times a day, slowly, baby steps, and just try to, as best as you can, be gentle with yourself. Try to maintain conscious concentration with this for as long as possible, and let your awareness be aware of the following 3 factors simultaneously. But you can do it in steps too, right? Okay, so the first bit during the day, if you want to just check yourself, check in with yourself, you say subject, okay? And this is just about you. So I'm going to simplify it after, but I'm just going to try and explain it here. So subject, it means be aware of yourself and what you're doing. What am I doing and why? It might seem simple to some of you that, why should I ask this? But we're not conscious of what we're doing. How many times have you remembered a dream and you don't know why you were doing what you were doing? So what kind of thoughts and emotions I'm having, okay? So you have to bring awareness to the thoughts and emotions. So this is the subject. Bring awareness to you, the main character of the movie, okay? And don't answer intellectually. Don't say, oh, I'm having this and that. No, just observe, pure attention. And once you've done that, once you feel you have awareness of that a little bit, then you go into object. An object is be aware of what your awareness is being fascinated or identified with, okay? Especially in the beginning, it's external things and then internal. So reflect on how things or thoughts are trapping your awareness into compulsively thinking about them. So for example, we spend hours looking at some jewelry or technology to buy online, right? We might have been practicing self-observation all day, but then we got fascinated by some cool thing that we want to buy or watch online. We research all day, but we've lost our awareness of the here and now too, you see? So you can ask, what things in life are fascinating or trapping my attention? Am I thinking about how annoying my husband was? Am I dreaming about what country I should go to next? And so many things, right? Am I dreaming about making up mental narratives of I can't astral project, and just bring awareness, okay? And cut the tie to these things if you can. But the main thing is just to observe. Okay, so, and the next one, so that's objects. Don't be identified and fascinated by the things outside of you in external reality, and also internally too. And then location, the most simplest one. Be aware of where you are and how you got there to that place. You must seriously ask, why am I here? How did I get here, right? If you go to the shop, just go in your mind, like, okay, I walked down this street, I saw this person, okay? Just go through it in your mind. You become more conscious of where you are, gathering yourself. Remind yourself that in dreams, we always go to different places unconsciously without any awareness at all. My dreams these days are just totally wacky. And I'm still, in a way, annoyed at myself that I wake up and I'm like, I don't recognize that I've not been to these crazy environments, and I wasn't aware. So if we were truly conscious of where we were at all times, it's obvious that this wouldn't happen in the astral either. And we would ask, we would notice, okay, I'm not in physical waking life. Okay, and that can happen naturally. We should always be questioning our environment and not assuming, right? And the worst thing is when we live at home, because the place we live most unconsciously is home. So you can ask, why am I here? Where am I? How did I get here? Okay. And then after the key of soul, you can also do, am I in physical or astral? Okay. And you can also do the reality check, right? Jump and fly. Okay. So to simplify all of that, because I know it's a lot of information, subject, anytime, 5 times a day, or 3 times a day, do this. Subject, okay, be aware of yourself, thoughts, emotions. What thoughts are going through my mind? What emotions am I feeling? And then object, be aware of things around you that fascinate you. That's it, simple. And then location. Where am I and why am I here? How did I get here? And that's it. And try your best to split your awareness into these three modes, these three ways of recognizing your experience of reality. Okay. So as I said, this is already a very powerful tool to have self-observation during the day, and you will have self-observation at night too. It depends how conscious your self-observation can be during the day. Like I said, physical waking life is the training ground for this. And remember, when you're looking at your identifications a lot, or your ego and all of this, it can sometimes we can get a little bit, we make more conflict, but don't. You're not judging yourself, no matter how bad it is, no matter how shameful or guilty you might feel about certain things you do in your personal life. Just bring awareness, and you can say, I am not this. You can repeat this. I'm not this. I am not this. I am not this. Right? And you become more grounded. You can say, I am pure awareness, and bring this feeling of intention and continued willpower into your at night when you go to sleep. Okay. Now we have the next practice then, a specific meditation practice. We're going to do this together as well. It's an active meditation. And generally, I'm advising you to do this at night before you go to sleep. But you can do this anytime too. And the more you do it, generally, if you can do it like maybe twice or 3 times a day, it can change your life. And it's very equilibrating for our consciousness too. And simply put, all we do is retrospect on our day so that our consciousness can process the clutter of the mind and not just the day. For this, you can retrospect on your day, okay? This is retrospective meditation. But you can also use this tool. We're not going to practice it in this way today, but you can also use this tool if you have some trauma from last week or last year, right? And especially if you have some recurring nightmares to do with it, right? You can use this technique to heal from that too, to just retrospect, to just bring pure awareness to what you've gone through, because it's going to help you psychologically comprehend it and transcend it, okay? This is not about ignorance. We can't just go to like Hawaii or Guatemala and hope that our traumas are going to be gone because we meditated on top of a mountain. In order to transcend suffering and transcend our psychological barriers, transcend our dreams, we have to comprehend them. We have to understand them, have wisdom with them intimately, psychologically, so that it doesn't become a dream obstacle for your consciousness anymore. So this is my main message. Dreams are obstacles. So don't just chase astral projection, but also notice your dreams, because every time you wake up and every dream you recall, it's telling you, hey, this is something in your consciousness, a barrier, something that your soul's purpose that you have to work through and comprehend, so that we don't have to keep having this same mechanical, habitual dream anymore. Okay. We all have, even whether you think you don't have recurring dreams or not, most of the themes in them are generally the same. Okay. So this meditation technique cleans up our consciousness. You see, most people go to sleep in order to feel balanced psychically, right? And they do, right? We all do. We go to sleep and our consciousness processes itself through dreams so that we feel rejuvenated when we wake up. So this is what I said earlier. Dreams have an energetic nature. And this is why we have to dream at night, so that our energy in our physical body, astral body, it all has to be rejuvenated. But with this practice, we learn how to process dreams, process our emotions and thoughts, same thing really, before going to sleep, by letting go of our identifications with them. How can we have astral experiences if we have way too much going on internally? And what happens if our physical body is tired, but there are no dreams to process? Well, obviously, we will remain awake while the physical body sleeps because there's no more dreams. So you see, we have much more opportunity then. We create a space within us that is much more fertile for these experiences. So you see, when people dream at night, they are retrospecting, but unconsciously. So let us do it consciously, here and now, so that we give ourselves more inner space to provide opportunities and chances to gain deeper experiences at night. And this is, for me, and in the Gnostic teachings, the number one reason we don't have as many experiences as we should, because we have this inner congestion of subjective dream things. And in religious terms, it's like God or your higher self, whatever you want to call it, is telling you, hey, I'm not going to let you astral project right now because you have more important spiritual things to process. Okay. So, in a way, this is really real meditation, to use the power of the mind, not to just make it blank, silent, empty, but use its intelligence, the intelligence of consciousness. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to guide you through this little meditation. We won't do it too long, but I just want to demonstrate and give you just the general structure and how to do it. But don't take it too rigidly. Just try to understand so that you can apply it yourself in a more intuitive and instinctive way. And also keep in mind, you might not be able to do this right now very effectively because you haven't been practicing the key of soul. You haven't been practicing self-observation. So this is how self-observation, the key of soul, is important, and how it connects. Because how can we retrospect on our day if we didn't pay deep attention during the moments of our day? Our memories will have holes or dark spots. Right? In the very same way, when we wake up, we barely remember our dreams. It's the same thing. So the purpose here is to become absolutely free from unconscious dreams, thoughts, emotions before we sleep, and get into an equilibrated, balanced state of awareness. Yeah, I've put these two images here just to show you, it's basically like a decluttering process. Usually before sleep, when we feel imbalanced, stress, anxious, overthinking, our consciousness looks like this messy desktop, right? With each item on it being some kind of identification, annoyance, attachment, ego narrative, fantasies, okay? Thinking about the future, dwelling on the past. And even with our astral projection techniques, everything we think about, everything's there. And we can't see the beautiful mountain behind them, right? So if we clean it up, if we put it all in the recycling bin, then we get to see a beautiful picture of reality. Okay, so astral projection is actually very simple, practically speaking. This is real yoga, internal yoga, dream yoga. With modern physical yoga, people are trying to release physical tension they gain throughout the day. But with dream yoga, we are releasing psychic tension. And by doing so, we are extracting our awareness from material reality, because we don't really care about material reality anymore. Not that we don't care about it, we love it, but it no longer fascinates us too much. We're more concerned with the astral worlds, the spiritual dimensions. We want to become our own sort of shamans, So yeah, we're extracting awareness from physical, material-based consciousness and applying it instead to the spiritual inner reality, which is the astral. So we could also call this energetic cleaning. Right? So yes, so with this meditation, I'm going to guide you through. We're teaching ourselves to shift from dream-based consciousness to astral-based consciousness, right? So, and I've put here, everything comes with a price, right? What's the price? Your own efforts. You have to pay attention, right? You pay with your attention, the price, okay? So when people say, oh, I can't astral project because of some moral thing, because of karma or something like this, well, Not really. It's quite scientific and quite logical. If you're paying attention, you'll have the experiences. And if you believe it's karma that you can't do it, well, then create some dharma by doing the practices, right? And I put this here too. Imagine a TV channel with 100 channels playing at the same time. This is our consciousness, okay? But only one channel wants to astral project, and there's 99 other random channels creating noise, right? So we want to unify ourselves. So in short, I've just put 4 basic steps here of what we're going to do. Before any kind of meditation, active or passive meditation, whatever it is, it's important that deep relaxation happens first. We need to relax the body, then the emotions and the thoughts. So these are the 3 minds that we understand in Gnosis, 3 different independent minds of our human machine, right? And then I'm going to guide you through going backwards, like pressing reverse on a cassette player in the movie. All right. You can even, if it helps you, you can visualize yourself being in a cinema, and we're going to watch the impressions that we receive throughout the day of our waking life, so that we need to check in with ourselves that we aren't being pulled into them. And as we do that, acknowledge what you're identified with, what you're fascinated with, what are your problems, and instinctively, just through pure awareness, no judgment, find peace and equilibrium amidst any conflicts or tension. Just have a decisive part of you that says, okay, I'm not giving my energy to this now because I want to give my energy to other things. Okay. And by the end of it, you should feel more surrendered to your own being, your pure consciousness, who you really are. And you should be able to maintain a more clear inner observation of yourself, which of course, then we can bring this into our nights. Yeah. So I would say, just before we go into this, these 2 practices I've given, I would say, give it at least 3 days of intensive practice. And then you lay a very good, energetic foundation for spontaneous astral experiences to begin happening at night. Okay, so let's do the practice. And yeah, just get comfortable. Maybe it will just be only 10-15 minutes, but you can do this, you can do it up to an hour sometimes if you have a lot to process. But we're just going to go through the main things. So get comfortable. Comfortable position. Doesn't matter what position, really. Just have your spine straight a little bit if you can. Taking some natural deep breaths and closing the eyes so that we aren't associating our awareness with external reality. We're moving our attention inwards. First, becoming aware, just bringing pure awareness to the physical body. No visualization, just awareness. And as you bring awareness to your body, start with the feet, releasing any tension. How do you feel? Have you got nervous energy, any tensions in the feet, in the calves? As your awareness goes to that part of your body, you may feel some energy, whatever. Just let any tensions relax. Whether it's energetic tensions or physical tensions, let go. Let go of them. We're not trying to control or do anything here, just letting go. Moving the awareness up to the legs, the groin, base of the spine, stomach, heart, relaxing the heart, chest, shoulders, arms and hands, your neck, your jaw. There's a lot of tension in the jaw and in the middle of the head, the back and the top of the head, little muscles behind the eyes. Let it all relax. Let it all go. Find your stillness. Groundedness. And now bring attention to your emotions. How are you feeling? No need to answer it. Just feel. And let go of the emotions too. Let them dissolve for just these 10 minutes. And now thoughts. What thoughts are going through the highway of the mind? Don't try to control it. Just observe at first. Judgments, skepticisms, speculations, doubts, thinking. Just as we let go of tension physically and emotionally, we can also let go of tensions intellectually, of our thoughts. Just give ourselves some psychological space. And now with this more centered sense of self, I want you to, with your mind's eye, just like watching a movie, very natural, memorize or remember, recall of where you are now and how you got here. And just slowly go through the events or any impressions that you had of today, going backwards with the intention all the way back to when we woke up. Just observe it. Be conscious of it. What food did we eat? Did we shower? Did we go to the toilet? Did we talk to friends and family? Going through all the scenes of the day. Using our active imagination in combination with our memory. How did we wake up? What kind of psychological mood were we in when we woke up? So seeing all the events of the day and also being mindful. What did we get lost in? What did we get caught up in? Maybe we woke up and went on social media. What happened to our awareness? Were we identified? Getting angry at some political situation or laughing at some comedian? It's all good, no judgment. But did we do this unconsciously? Did we start dreaming? Maybe we watched a music video and imagined ourselves to also be a famous rock star, a movie star, or just some fantasy. We gave birth to a dream in that moment. Do we want dreams, or do we want to take a deep breath and relax? Do we want to be in the reality of our life here and now to our true self? Or do we want to be here and now, paying attention, honoring our internal soul, our life, and honoring our external manifestations of reality too? So find peace and equilibrium among any problems or conflicts, anything that you had today. Save your energy. We want to save it for spiritual purpose, for astral purposes. We should go to sleep with physical tiredness, but not spiritual tiredness, not spiritual leakage, depressions, anger, worries, resentments, anxieties. So in this way, we can observe and reflect on our day. And also with the intention that we're going to self-observe now in the future, in the coming days, with the key of soul, observing our thoughts here and now, our identifications, and being aware of where we are, grounded and conscious, and surrendered to our inner power. And just staying with this for a few minutes. I'll give you just a few minutes of silence before we end. Just try to be aware of awareness. And just try to maintain this clear inner light, inner observation. Now that we've reflected on our day, gone backwards to any of the memories that we had, and also now bringing our awareness back here, we can slowly open our eyes, and also you can already begin to practice the key of soul. Say to yourself mentally, subject, and bring awareness to where you are with your eyes open, and who you are right now. What thoughts are you having? What emotions as you come out of meditation? Did you think it was a good practice? Okay, good. But that's also a thought, right? Be aware. Be aware of your emotions, how you're feeling. Okay, just consciousness. We're not thinking about anything. Now say object. What are you identified with? To more or less degree, we're all quite identified with the course that we're in now. That's okay. Just be aware. Maybe you're identified with a pack of beers that you want to drink later, or you have plans later, or I don't know, you have some beautiful items in your room that is fascinating you. That's okay, but be aware. And location. Say location. Where am I? How did I get here? What's the time? What day is it? Am I in the physical or am I in the astral? Do a reality check. Never assume that you are in the physical, because you will assume it in your dreams then. So do a reality check. You can, my favorite one is hold your nose and try to breathe through it. If you can, you're in the astral. If you can't, then you're in the physical. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Let's see the next bit. And I just have a little diagram here of the three minds. Thought is brain, emotions, heart, movement, physical body, spinal column. Okay. So with all of this, practicing all of this, having this sort of unbendable willpower during the day to exercise our inner awareness through this inner yoga, and doing self-observation during the day, paying attention, and also reflecting on our day so that we don't go to sleep with anxieties and things, then these things can begin to happen. At first, or just generally, I mean, at least for me too now, really, I can't remember the last time I had a mundane, normal dream. Our dream life begins to become very vivid and very symbolic. And this is to do with the universal language of consciousness. These have deep meanings because, yeah, why are they symbolic? Because if we don't have symbolic dreams and we only have mundane ones, just normal things that we do during our everyday mundane life, terrestrial life, it means our consciousness is too identified with physical material reality. But when we begin to self-observe and disidentify psychologically, we are experiencing a different reality, an inner reality, which is more profound and insightful and objective. And it doesn't correspond to the visuals of everyday life. Okay. So this is how you can understand how many religions and traditions in the past through different times all have very, very similar symbolism. The cross, right? Snakes, many things, infinity symbols, flower of life. Okay. What else might happen? Well, you'll then begin to be aware within dreams, lucid dreaming. Okay, because you're learning how to lucidly live during waking life. Lucid living is lucid dreaming. And I want you to understand, I don't think a lot of people understand this, dreams take place in the astral part of your own consciousness. Okay, it's not just in the brain, you know. For me, consciousness is not in the brain. The brain is in consciousness. So dreams, even if you're in a lucid dream too, it's a trapped environment within the astral sphere. Okay. And you can simply snap out of these dreams, just in the same way that you're going to practice snapping out of identifications with self-observation and retrospection. Okay. And if you do it in a dream, and I can tell you from experience, you can be in a dream, and if you snap out of the dream, if you get this sense of, I am not this, right? I am not this. And you get this sense that you are creating the dream, right? Because you're dreaming it. It's coming from your subconscious. Why should you not have the power to withdraw the dream? Okay. And if you do, you can see the dream dissolve. And it may not be fully objective astral dimension. Usually it is, you know, we come to, when we stop dreaming, we come to quite profound astral realities. But at least you'll be dissolving at least one layer and making your way closer to more objective layers of reality in the astral worlds. And then, of course, spontaneous OBEs will happen during any time of your sleep, all right? Anytime. So, and I think one of the one of the most common thoughts of that I receive, or I've noticed, is that it's like people don't like this idea of spontaneous astral projections, because the mind has this compulsiveness, right? This identification of I have to have a technique and I have to have control and I need to do it because I feel like an ego that needs to do it. But it's different. It's opposite. We need to let go, right? So this is why I've put here, dreaming is about control. You create your dreams in the astral, right? But if you want to experience real astral projection, it is about surrender, surrendering control. So this is what I mean by spontaneous OBEs, okay? And to add to that, I want to also say, trust your being, trust yourself, your inner being, your innermost, higher self, God, whatever you want to call it, trust it. Whatever kind of tradition you're from, your inner Buddha, trust it. It will give you spontaneous experiences. My first experience was from prayer. I did nothing else. I did things here and there, but I really felt, I remember doing a prayer in my heart and I said, please, I was raised a Catholic, I said, please, God, show me, please show me the reality of the astral world. I want to experience this. If it's real, I really want to experience it. And so, yeah, have faith too, okay? But if not, of course, we have all of the things that are taught that you can see on the screen, right? Simple intention. Before bed, just say, I will astral project tonight. I will do it, okay? Or say, it will happen, right? I'm already expecting it. I have faith, conscious faith, right? Then you can do, as we saw before, wake back to bed. Or if you want a more intense wake back to bed, wake up every 2 hours. Set an alarm every 2 hours. Go to sleep, wake up, see if you had an experience. Go to sleep, wake up, okay? So this is for the warriors, those with a lot of fire to do this. There's certain mantras. I teach these, on my channel. You can just say these mantras as you go to sleep. Fa, ra, om, elongate it more, okay? You can do Om. If you do Om mantra mentally, of course, and it has to be relaxed, also focus on your heart too, all right? And La, La, Ra, you just repeat these, all right? There's also one where you can hold a ball in your hand while sleeping. Okay? While you're sleeping, you're holding a ball like a tennis ball, and as you fall asleep, so you put your hand over the bed, and so that the tennis ball would fall on the floor. And when you go to sleep, the ball will naturally come out of your hand. Okay, and then you'll hear the ball drop, and that should give you a little bit of jolt to be in this in-between state. Okay, and then of course do reality checks during waking life, and generally just do it with Key of Soul. I always do a reality check after I've done an intensive Key of Soul practice, right? So, and let me give like an example of when I said, just to try to understand dreams a little bit more about why they're symbolic as well. The other night, I had a dream where I was looking in a mirror and I put my head through the mirror and I looked at my inner world. I knew this was my world. And I saw me in there, in a world. But also there were layers of worlds. So above me was also another me, and below me was also another me. So there were 4 of me, and we all came together and started talking to each other, you see? And I saw this as a reflection of, because in that day, I had been meditating a lot and reflecting on certain psychological parts of myself. And so at night, I didn't have a full astral projection, but I had a very interesting experience that's going to lead me eventually in the future to become more adept at all of these astral mysteries, okay? So yeah, just to note, I am generally skipping the well-known techniques on how to achieve lucid dreaming. I'm going to assume, the basic techniques already, doing reality checks during the day, doing wake back to bed methods. If not, we can ask questions about it in the Q&A. Otherwise, I have several videos on my channel, in my book, and there's also many easy resources online to learn about it.